Welcome to the Podcast Profits Unleashed podcast on Mintwave Radio and all podcast platforms. If you're a coach, consultant, therapist, or healer with an online program and would like to find out how to grow your business whilst having fun podcasting, go to podcastprofitsunleashed.com/free. Let's dive into today's episode.
And it looks like we are live. So today we have Tom Paladino. He's a Scalar Energy researcher with over 25 years of experience developing healing techniques designed to help people all over the world to recover from pathogenic infection and experience true health and wellness. I'm your host, Karen Roberts, helping coaches and therapists just to get the message out to those who need to hear it. So today we're going to be talking about how to heal with Scalar Energy. So welcome to the show, Tom.
And a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
So first of all, what inspired you to use Scalar Energy to heal people?
I see the great prospect. It's intelligence. I don't work with chemicals. It's a new field of science in which you're working with intelligence instructions. You're not working with physical matter. And it's much easier and much more effective when you're working with intelligence as opposed to chemicals or surgery. So this is quantum healing, informational healing. It's unlike anything you've ever seen before because the instruments that I work with behind me are unique.
And for the people out there who are listening in, first of all, let's go through Scalar Energy. Yes, you've just explained there that we're working with an intelligence, but could you go a little bit more in depth into that and explain what this is?
Yeah, to be very specific, it's the energy of the sun and the stars. I'm able to tap into that energy of the sun and the stars. So this is not electricity. This is what some people might call ohm or prana or 0-point energy. So I'm working with a different energy spectrum. Why is that important? It's really it's the cause of nature. I'm working with the first cause. And with that in mind, I have incredible command over nature. That's why it's so important.
Well, do you think we've just come away from that so much, that from being at one with nature? I mean, all us, I'm sure in the previous lifetime I was definitely burnt at the stake. Everybody that had that connection and that understood a little bit more about nature, well, it was all frowned upon in the past, wasn't it?
Well, of course it was, to our detriment. So what am I proposing? Go back to nature. The instruments that I have in my lab, these are miniature stars. I'm not recreating nature. I'm just copying nature. And the key is this. I access this energy from the stars. There is no power plant on Earth that I have to rely upon. The power plant is from the stars. So that really portends a new era coming of free energy from the stars. So this should be of interest to everybody on the planet.
I'm going to presume this will cover a lot of areas, not just about healing of the body, which for you, this is what you're using this for. So how do you do this? What is your process and how do you get results for people if they are ill, suffering right now?
That's a good point. So to be clear, when I work with people, I work in the quantum field. And on account of the fact this is not an electrical instrument, I can work with people by way of their photograph. So what's that mean? A photograph has energy. My photograph has energy attached to it. I place a photograph of a person inside the instrument, one person or many people. So I make a connection to their aura or their energy field. It's not a biological connection. And when I'm doing that, it's a new branch of science of information, so that if there's a problem with that person, we can correct the information. Really, dis-ease is disinformation, or the incorrect information, if you will. And what I'm trying to prove to the world is by working with information, we can improve quantum health through a person's photograph.
So many people, this may seem a little bit more woo-woo to others, However, we do, people have been conditioned. Well, for years, we've had the television, and that's, sending waves, right? Now it's,
Right.
as we are digital, you're in Florida, I'm over here in the UK. And so distance isn't a problem, right? We are connecting somehow through frequencies. So with people's understanding of it, it sounds almost too good to be true that we can use it to heal, but we've become so accustomed to use it in our everyday life. What do you think some of the things that holds people back in their belief system with this?
It's just a lack of education. That's all. And I don't fault them. Now, what I'm doing is unique, Karen. So it takes time for me to make my point and to prove, to demonstrate that this is a benefit. But you made a very salient point. We're having a discussion now from Europe to the United States. We're having this discussion in real time. And yes, I can share my image on the computer screen with you. Now, pursuant to that thought, I can share my image with this instrument. And this instrument is so strong, it's going to download white light into me. Let me explain. There's so much light coming off my instrument, that instrument can illuminate a light bulb. And that's the communication that I make with a person's force field or their aura. So what's the key now? Just like a computer is an information system. The computer doesn't do the work. The computer sends out instructions. Well, this is, if you will, a sort of like a quasi-computer in which I work with instructions. So the instructions always precede the action. So the intelligence, the computer programming, the scalar programming precedes and instructs, if you will, the quantum field.
So how is it going to affect a person on a cellular level? If this is designed to help heal people, let's take somebody, I don't know, that's suffering with something that's very common, right? I don't know, if they've got a cold, right? The common cold. How would this instrument help?
Let me speak to that point. So when I'm working with people around the world, again, it's always light, it's energy, it's never the physical body. I'm going to hold up a photograph of a streptococcus, a bacterium. It's common. Many people have that. Now, when I instruct this instrument, I instruct it with photographs of microbes. This is streptococcus, and I would place it adjacent to my photograph. Now, keep in mind, it's always an image communicating with an image. This photograph of streptococcus would download into my photograph. There's a sharing of information between the force fields. And in so doing, this instrument, the scalar energy instrument, would send streptococcus as an instruction into my quantum field. If I had streptococcus, this instrument would not only find streptococcus, would bring it to a state of chaos, would break it apart. So this is the easy, straightforward way to look for a bacterium identified by a photograph of that bacterium and then destroy it, bring it to a state of chaos.
Wow. And how does it do that? In how is it affecting somebody's their body or their response to some kind of pathogen?
Yes. So let's say this as a molecular bond. Everything is held together by a molecular bond. So when I place that photograph inside the instrument will look at the molecular bond and break it down. A covalent bond, an ionic bond, hydrogen bonds. You're just breaking down the bonds that hold together a bacterium. And when you send those instructions into my photograph or into my quantum field, the molecular bonds of streptococcus break apart. They disassemble, negate. This is the mastery that we have with scalar energy. Again, this is a master tool. This instrument can, if you will, instruct any pathogen to break down, to lose its coherence, to be reduced to a state of chaos. Once a germ, a pathogen is reduced to a state of chaos, it doesn't exist.
But does that mean that you still have to detox the body? Because if their cells broken down, you're getting viral particles. Is the person that's being treated, are they gonna sort of have, symptoms of, I don't know, sneezing or coughing to clear, to actually get rid of these broken down cells?
Yeah, very good point. No. Why? It's not a chemical reaction. We're breaking down the intelligence of a bacterium or a fungus or a virus. So we negate the intelligence, which is a big difference from, if you will, having a chemical reaction. So my work is 100% safe. Why? There's no physical matter, Karen. I never work with this. I only work with intelligence, and you cannot have an adverse reaction to intelligence. Nobody had a rash or sneezing or an allergic reaction to intelligence. It's a completely different realm of energy. It's not electricity. It doesn't behave anything like electricity.
Right. So it's going to the root cause, clearing it, and there are no side effects. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Why are there no side effects? There's no chemicals. There's no physical matter. You have to have physical matter to have a physical side effect. I never work with physical matter. Energy, this energy is intelligence. There's no electrons or protons involved.
My goodness. I get it on one level. It's just so different to anything else that I've looked at before, because, whatever people are, looking to heal themselves, you are looking to either get the right nutrients in and clear the toxins, get rid of the poisons. But actually, what I'm hearing from you, what this machine can do is actually get to the root cause and eliminate it without getting anything else involved.
Exactly. That's why I'm so happy with this process. You only work with light intelligence. It's harmless. I can work with one person at a distance, or I can work with 1 million people at a distance. There's no chemical die-off. There's no chemical consequence. It's perfect. There's no
it's a
drawback.
win-win.
Yes, it is. Yes, exactly. Thank you. You've come to this understanding in a short order here. So I congratulate you. Now, again, to underscore, what I'm working with is not electricity. This is not Newtonian physics. If you go back to Nikola Tesla, Tesla was trying to introduce us to radiant energy, what he called scalar energy is radiant energy. It's a different type of energy. It's not electricity. So this new realm of science, this new branch of physics, is not electromagnetic. Hence, there's no electromagnetic drawbacks. There's no electromagnetic consequences.
Where do you see this going in the future? I mean, what other things can this be used for?
Yeah. Recently, I've been working with people around the world, HIV clinics, and I'll explain. Then I'll answer your question. I can take a photograph of HIV and match it up to my photograph, or match it up to anybody's photograph, if you will. And what's the case? We download the intelligence of HIV, looking for HIV in any person. We bring to a state of chaos the HIV intelligence. And in so doing, people no longer have a viral load for HIV. And we've proven that. Now, what's the point? Well, I can work with one person. I can work with 100 people. Today, earlier in my laboratory, I was working with 500,000 photographs. So to answer your question, Karen, I envision a global healing ministry, which we can work with millions of people every day by way of their photographs.
My goodness. I mean, that is how does that make you feel, knowing that you have helped, well, just in one day alone, 500,000 people?
Right. That's a great responsibility. Thank you for realizing that. This is the gift that God has given me. That I have the intellect to understand this instrument and how to apply it. And again, this is a new branch of physics where you don't work with one person at a time. You can work with 500,000. You can work with 2 million people in a day. So this is simple and easy. Why? We only need a photograph. We can go cross-border anywhere. We could work with the astronauts on the moon if they were still on the moon.
For you, what else do you think? So if somebody's sitting there listening to this and it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What other, what else is holding people back from actually going, if they had anything going wrong, wouldn't it be worth trying something that can do no harm? There's no side effects. What will it be that's holding people back from taking that next step?
They're starting to get it. For instance, if you go to my website, you'll see hundreds of test results of people. Here's a test result, a person who said, I no longer have a viral load for herpes. So you can judge us by our results. Here's another test result. This person, after being infected for over 30 years with herpes 2, there's no viral load. And the people no longer have any symptoms of these viruses. Here's a test result for HIV. This person is undetectable after being positive for years. So if people want proof, go to the website, read our 4,000 testimonies, then you decide why people around the world share with me PCR test results, and those test results show no viral load for HIV, for Epstein-Barr virus, for herpes. What's the point here? The proof is in the pudding. Visit the website. It works, according to 4,000 people who wrote in testimony.
You're saying this technology has obviously been around, forever, obviously, but who were the main people that sort of really saw this, other than Tesla? Was there anybody else that really saw this energy for what it could actually do?
Yeah, I work with a family called the Hieronymus family. The American inventor, his name was Galen Hieronymus. I never met him, but Hieronymus is so successful, he achieved a U.S., a British, and a Canadian patent for a scalar energy instrument. Now, here's the key point, Karen. This is free energy, okay? If this energy can illuminate a light bulb, that's free energy. If this energy can send quantum healing around the world to millions of people, essentially that's inexpensive or free quantum healing. So what's the point? The powers that be do not want free energy. That's the impediment right now. So I have to work at a grassroots level to interest people as to what I'm doing. You think that with all these test results that I can show of people having wonderful results and no side effects, you think this would be headline news.
So why isn't it?
It's suppressed.
They're putting a stop to it, yeah.
Yes, they are. Now, Nikola Tesla, over 100 years ago, many people in the audience have heard of Nikola Tesla. Tesla was likewise developing free energy instruments. And those free energy instruments could today, in application, they would have ended our energy crisis. If you have free energy from the sun and the stars without pollution, again, there's no chemicals here, without pollution, I think the world would embrace free energy, inexpensive in application, no chemical reaction per se. Why aren't we accepting radiant energy, free energy, scalar energy? What's the impediment? The powers that be do not want it, plain and simple.
And have you had anybody trying to sort of suppress your work or stop you getting the message out there?
No. But I will say that there are certain algorithms out there that don't support my work. So anytime I try and put my work out on certain media sites, certain websites, that my work goes nowhere. It's blocked, and I can prove that because I can look at the algorithms of other comments of other people, and those algorithms are fine, quite favorable. So the point is this. I thank you for the time. I thank you for your interest in my work. Go to my website and read our 4,000 testimonies and look at the PCR tests of people who say that they no longer have a viral load for Epstein-Barr or cytomegalovirus. And then when you're at the website, visit the website. We allow anybody 15 days of free sessions. Anybody can visit the website. You're going to upload, you're going to email us your photograph, and we'll treat you for free for 15 days. 15 days. Let me say that most people like that because they want an introduction to this. And again, it's new. It's different. I don't expect people to understand this.
What sort of results can somebody expect to get then for 15 days?
Typically, most people say the chakra balancing allows them to sleep much better, and that they have a surge of energy. They're not so if you will, tired. And then, if you will, this pathogenic cleanse, this cleanse by way of intelligence of microbes, viruses, bacteria, fungi, that makes people feel better. Today, I woke up with a biofilm as usual, but after I work with myself and I cleanse my quantum field of bacteria, my mouth is clean. There's no biofilm on my mouth after I perform this function. And then finally, a lot of people say their appetite suppresses because we take photographs of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, and we download the energy of a vitamin, not the chemical. We download the energy of a vitamin into a person. And frankly, this is how I receive my nutritional support, my supplemental nutrition, through photographs of vitamins, antioxidants, downloading into my quantum field. 22 hours a day, I treat people for the energy of vitamins.
So then, oh my goodness. I mean, the implications of this are pretty phenomenal. Yes. I mean, it sounds similar to, so I have a little Healy device. So that's just frequencies. Are we all on, is it the same or is this something completely different?
It's comparable to that. It's comparable. They're different instruments, but nonetheless, a frequency, when favorable, will produce an advantageous result, a favorable result. Well, this is what I've experienced with Scalar Energy. Remember, there's no chemicals, and the instrument does what you tell it to do. So if I tell this instrument to assemble B4, it will do that without any overdose, without any detox, without any chemical reaction. Why? It's the energy of vitamin B4 that I am accepting in my quantum field. Now, to be clear, when I send this energy, it remains energetic. It doesn't become a chemical, but it has the quasi effect of a vitamin. So you could either ingest a vitamin B4, or you could receive the energy of B4.
Right. And again, I suppose the implications there, the problem that I see with a lot of people that think they're doing the right thing, taking, extra nutritional supplements, but if it's not done in the right way, there can be danger of taking too much of one substance and not enough. So because this isn't the actual thing, it's not the chemical, so there's no fear of taking too much of one thing. So you're getting basically the energy of what you need. So is that what it is? The body will only accept what it needs?
Yes, that's brilliant. Yes, exactly. Why? Because it's perfect information. Our body will only accept what we need, and then it stops. For some reason, I've never seen an overdose with my work. Why? It's not a chemical. How can there be an overdose? I work with photographs that have light signatures. So that crystalline structure, that actual molecular structure, is downloaded into me, into my quantum field. Again, it's always a non-physical communication of light. And light never makes a mistake. So the photograph of B4, it will always deliver B4 energy to me, but not in a chemical sense. So there can never be any die-off. There never can be a Herxheimer reaction. There cannot be an overdose. We're not working in the physical realm.
Even though I sort of understand it on one level, because of our conditioning, it's still so difficult to, that I can understand how that would work. It's going into your bioenergetic field. So it's a much safer way of doing, anything really. Yes. And I suppose the list is endless. What else are you dealing with? So you're dealing with nutrition. You can put the right nutrients into you. You can... what other things? How else can you help people?
Yeah, very good. So we have another program called Natural Foods. I take photographs of food, tomatoes, spinach, and once again, I download the energy of spinach into me. Okay? So it's not that I'm eating spinach. I now have the nutritional value of spinach. But there's never a caloric intake. It's not a chemical process, so you never put on weight. And to the contrary, now that I have the necessary nutrients from spinach, a lot of people say that they miss a meal. because they're not hungry. They have, if you will, satiated themselves. Their appetite is satisfied through energy, not food. But nonetheless,
Right.
they still have received the nutrition that they need.
Yeah, well, I can see how that will work because your body. Your body wants to heal itself anyway. Your body wants to always stay in homeostasis. So if
Yes.
it's just getting the energy from everything that it's need, that would make sense. That would
Yes.
help people with regards to that appetite because they won't. The body just doesn't need it because if it's got everything that it needed from the energy of it, and is this another thing that comes to mind also, when we're talking about the energy of something. I know with homeopathy, you're still taking something, but the whole point of that homeopathic system was that, again, it wasn't the thing, which is why it was sort of thrown out by doctors because they would test with the thing. And the whole point of homeopathy was that it was diluted so much that it was just the energy of the thing.
Yes. Yes.
So
this
the whole
yes.
things is very, very similar.
You're absolutely right. So when you dilute a solution or a reagent in homeopathy, it really is, you're potentiating it with scalar energy, with chi or prana. So you can either do that with a reagent, a vial, a chemical, or you can do that with light, scalar light on a photograph. And so instead of using a vial, a reagent, I use a photograph. But you're absolutely right. That's a great analogy. Thank you. That's precisely what I'm doing. This is homeopathy with energy.
It is. It's taken it to the next level because of it's because of the misunderstanding. Western medicine didn't really understand homeopathy. That's why they threw it out because they were testing it with the thing. And they're like, no, hang on. It's not about the thing, but the energy of it. And again,
exactly.
They were, you don't want to take belladonna, it's a poison, but the energy of it to combat it. I mean, it's also, it sounds like that, they were onto something there. And what this is doing is just taking it to a whole other level. So how long have you been doing this now and in actually getting results for people?
Yeah, in practice, I've been working with these instruments now for close to 30 years. 30 years. And I had results day one. And I've been trying to introduce it to the world for the past 30 years, but it's a new science and I don't expect people to understand it. So it takes time. Yeah. We have to introduce this.
And are you using podcasts as a way to get your message out there to people?
Yes. Why? Because good people like you work with me. Good people like you want to help the world. And working with this on a grassroots level, on a podcast level, we get the message out there. It's not filtered. Thank you.
At the moment, all right? Because, here be the problem. The moment you start to talk about things like this, and this is our whole stance on why podcasting is such a great way to get your message out there, is that you can get censored on social media. You could be building a group and trying to educate them and get them to understand this energy. Before you know it, you could be locked out. You could have lost your group. You just be completely censored and locked out of everywhere. At least getting it out there, speaking with other podcasters to get this message out there, because it's going to take a while. But have you seen real change in the last few years, especially since the dreaded C word?
I have seen incredible shift in people's mentality over the past, say, 3, 4, 5 years for various reasons. So people are now accepting that there is a quantum field, an energy field. They realize that Tesla and these other scientists were correct, and they're willing to explore. People are very open-minded, so I give people a great deal of credit.
It depends where you are, though. Tom, I would say over here in the UK, the issues can be a little bit more. The way I see it is because we have the NHS and they sort of control everything, it has been sort of ingrained in our culture that, if you're ill, you go to somebody in a white coat who's going to give you some kind of chemical, some kind of pill that's going to fix this thing. We have been so conditioned. Whereas you guys over there, there's a little bit more freedom to go and choose what you think is right for you. Whereas in the UK, it's almost like they expect it to be free, even if it's not free because you've been paying into the NHS since you were 16. But the way it's done, that their conditioning is such that, this is what we do when we're ill. Whereas you guys over there, it's a little bit more, you've got options. You could go to, because you're used to paying for it anyway. So why not try this option or go to this? To me, it seems that you guys are a little bit more open to trying new things. Is that the way you see it?
Maybe. I don't live in the UK, so you know better than I do. But let's just say this. When people see benefits, they gravitate. They'll run to those benefits. And I offer people proof by way of my testimonies, and then I tell people, sign up for the 15 days of free sessions. And the key, Karen, is let people decide. Not government, let people decide.
There you go. And the proof is in the pudding, just as you said.
Yes.
So the listeners, what they can do next is, come on, take a chance, try it for yourself. The proof is in the pudding. So obviously, if you're watching this video, or you can see in the show notes, we've got the links. But to the listeners, if they're listening whilst driving along, how do they get hold of these sessions and try it for themselves?
Yes. The website is scalarlight.com. SCALAR light, LIGHT. Now, that offer of 15 days of free session is open to anybody in the world. Anybody, whether you're in Europe, Asia, Africa, it doesn't matter. I want people to become aware of my research. I am willing to prove it. And to that end, I'll be willing to treat millions of people through their photograph for 15 days free. No questions asked, no obligation. Take me up on my offer. I'll let you prove it to yourself how you feel.
Fantastic. You can't say anything better than that, right? Prove it to yourself. So
Yes.
Thank you, Tom, for taking time out of your day to come on and speak to me about this. This is something that is pretty close to my heart. I mean, I first became sort of aware of this a few years ago, and that was to do with just really frequency healing as a whole. And then my father had a stroke, so I ordered one. But in the meantime, my friend was sending frequencies to him whilst he was in a hospital bed. Now, no, unfortunately, he didn't survive. However, I do wholeheartedly believe that it aided his transition. But also for me, it helped me with my emotions to actually deal with what happened. So I know it works. And I haven't even tried yours. I know that the frequency healing as a therapy absolutely works, which is why this is, I'm so passionate about it. But this, what you're sharing, is on a whole other level. So I'm looking forward to finding out a little bit more about this scalar energy. Look, it sounds like this is just going to another level.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you being open to it. And again, remember, with light, with energy, you achieve homeostasis. That's the key to my work. I only work with nature. It's not a chemical, so I'm working with light, and light can achieve homeostasis. Why? You don't have to worry about a chemical imbalance. Light is perfect. So if I have perfect light, then I have perfect conditions, which is homeostasis.
And that is what actually everybody needs. That's what they're looking for. That's what their body is trying to do every second of every day. So why not give your body a bit of help? Awesome. Yes. Thank you for your time. Everybody else, I will be back next week. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to today's episode on the Podcast Profits Unleashed podcast. If you're a coach, consultant, therapist, or healer who would like to drive sales whilst having fun podcasting, head over to podcastprofitsunleashed.com/free and find out how you can turn your podcast into a sales machine. We'll see you on the next episode.